Hi everybody! We had a great first week with learning how to use our bow. I want to remind you that we're not going to have our bow on our instrument yet. We're going to wait a little bit because we really want to get our bow hand established before we start making noise with it on our instrument. Promise me you're not going to put them together. I know you. Don't do it. So, we got to know some parts to our bow. Here's your refresher course. Here's the bow. This piece right here, right there is the tip. This is the stick. This piece right here at the end is called the screw. And this piece right here is called the frog. It's kind of a crazy name. Not exactly sure why it's called the frog, but it is. Lastly, we've got this long white stuff here, and that's hair. It's horse hair. Yes, it's real horse hair. It came from the horse's tail. We want to make sure that we never ever touch the horse hair because our hands, believe it or not, they're kind of oily, and that stuff can get into the hair, and it will make it so that the hair gets dirty and we do not get a good sound on our strings. So we never ever touch the hair. Got it? Good. Next, when we go to get our bow out of the case, we want to make sure that we grab it by the frog. There's probably a little lever right here that either twists up or it covers this direction and you need to pull it up. So you'll grab it by the frog, flip your little lever, and the tip is probably covered also, or it's in some kind of a little compartment. So you need to pull with the frog so that it comes out of the case first, instead of pulling straight towards you because you could snap the tip right off. So once you get the bow out, the next thing that you'll need to do is tighten the bow. We do that with the screw. So we're going to use the screw and we're going to tighten our bow so that we're going to make it so that the hair and the stick are about the width of your pinky. So we're going to tighten it, tighten, probably about 6 or 7 turns, sometimes 8. And we want to make sure that there's still a natural curve in the bow. You can still kind of see it in this bow. It's really important that we keep that curve. We don't want it any tighter than that. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to get to the setup here of our hand on the bow. I'm telling you right now, it's tricky. It is. It's the hardest thing that we do in orchestra. Holding your instrument, piece of cake. Bow, not so easy. It's going to take some time. Don't give up. Try and try again. Every time that you don't get it is one time closer to the time that you actually get it. And it could happen like that, or it could take a couple days, couple weeks, sometimes even a couple months. We'll get it, I promise. And we've got lots of strategies to help you get it right. So the first thing that we're going to do is what we did in orchestra. I took a dry erase marker. I'm just going to use a pen. Because I don't have a dry erase marker, and you're going to mark the first knuckle on your right hand, just like this. See where that is? Oh, I got to turn it this way. And then I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to mark the middle of my thumb at the top, just like that. So I got 2 lines. 1, 2. So, like I said, I've got a bunch of strategies here for you. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to hold the stick with your hand that doesn't have a marker on it, which would be your left hand. And we're going to point the tip towards that wall. I'm mirroring you right now. So if I lean this way, you should be leaning this way. Okay? So your bow, if you put it up right towards me, should match. So you're going to take your bow hand, which is the one that's got the markers on it, and you're going to hold a can of soda. Hold your soda right in front of you. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your soda, we're going to dump it upside down. You see how when you dump it upside down, your top of your hand is pointing towards the tip. You want to do that again, so here's your soda. We're going to dump. Notice my elbow doesn't come up. Hold your can of soda one more time for me. Ready, steady, dump. We're going to take it for where that line is on my finger, and I'm going to make it so that it's on my stick, and now it's hidden. It's on the bow. Now, my 2 middle fingers, if you make I love you, these are the 2 middle fingers that are going to be in contact with the frog. So I'm going to hold my soda, I'm going to dump, goes right there. I'm going to plop these two fingers right there on the frog. They're flat. And now I'm going to put my pinky right on top. And now I'm going to take my thumb where that line is. I want you to look real close here at the frog. I'm going to try to get it. There we go. So we've got this bump and the stick. You see that? We are going to make it so that your thumb is in contact between the bump and the stick. So here it goes. I'm going to take that line right there, and I'm going to line it up with my bump and the stick. Now, if I remember that I've turned my soda can upside down, it's right there, and I'm going to line up these two fingers on the frog, and my pinky goes right on top if I play violin or viola. But if I play cello or bass, my pinky is going to wrap around the front like this. Pinky is on top for violins and violas. It's around the front for cello bass. I want you to notice that I've got like a little spyglass right here. I can see right through, right through my hand. You should be able to look right through there and see my thumb is bent. It needs to stay bent. My fingers, they're flat right against the frog. If I turn it this way, you can see it's nice and flat. They're not curved up like this. I don't want that. I want them to be nice and flat. Pinky is either on top or around the front if I play cello bass. My thumb is bent. And let's try another strategy. All right, so let's talk about I love you or rock it on. So we're going to call this Bucky the Bucktooth Bunny. And we're going to take his teeth. Go ahead and do it. And you're going to bend this, and he's going to have it on his chin, just like this. See how this thumb right here? That's the chin right there. Okay? So, the reason we do this, not just to look silly, but to keep our thumb nice and bent, and to remember the bucktooth bunny, how his teeth are nice and flat, and the chin sticks out. That's the thumb. So the bucktooth bunny is going to take a bite out of the frog. Flat right there. My thumb goes right there. And now he's going to take a little nap. So he's going to fall asleep this direction, and the pinky's going to go on top. Or pinky's going to wrap around to keep nice and warm if I play cello or bass. But if I play violin or viola, it's on top. So we've learned holding the soda can, turning it upside down. We've learned Bucky the Bucktooth Beaver, Bunny, Bucktooth Bunny. And let's just try one more strategy. All right, so you're going to hold the stick with your left hand. And we're going to start again with this I love you business. We're going to take these two middle fingers. The hair should be away from you. You're going to take your two fingers and you're going to set them flat on the frog. It's like a tabletop right there. Now I'm going to super glue these two fingers, and I'm just going to roll my hand right around. I'm going to do it again this way so you have a good profile. Maybe. There it is. It's flat, and I'm going to roll. See how it stayed nice and flat? Now my pinky goes on top. My finger wraps around. My thumb is bent. And I like to use the term turn the doorknob. So you turn the doorknob. I'm not going to bring my elbow up. I'm just going to turn my hand. Literally, I'm just turning it towards the tip of the bow. Here it was. There it goes. Here it was. Turn the doorknob. I don't want to point. I don't want my bow hand to end up like this. This happens a lot. Don't do it. Wrap these fingers around. That's why we marked this knuckle right here. We marked this knuckle, this first knuckle, because it's our point of contact. That's the knuckle that needs to be on the stick. Okay? Now, once we've got this done, it should start to settle in. The biggest thing that people don't do is bending their thumb. When you don't bend your thumb, you can't turn the doorknob. When you do this, your fingers just don't want to do it. You see that? My thumb is going the wrong way. It gets stuck. See how it's going the wrong way? And I don't have any control of my wrist. So I need to bend my thumb. Here is bad. Good. Bad. Good. Keep it nice and bent. Nice and round. Okay? So, we've got our good bow hold. We're going to practice a couple things. First thing, we're going to do rocket ship. It's right down in front of us. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Psh. You have to make noise. And you just got to come back down to earth. Back straight down. And you're like, Mrs. Raspinner, why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this because we need to get these fingers really comfortable on the frog, on the top of the stick, or around the stick. We want these fingers to stay flat. We need this thumb to stay round, because when we play, our bow moves just like the rocket ship. It's got to move. It's got to be willing to give, but the fingers can't move. Remember, we super glued them. The other thing we're going to do is stir the soup around and around and back the other way. And then finally, we're going to do the windshield wipers. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. So those are the 3 things that we're going to practice once we get our bow hold in the right spot. Don't give up. You can do it. It takes time. It takes practice. It may not happen just like that. It might take a couple days. It could. It took me a long time to get it right, but once I had it right, I go to it every single time, and it's like holding a pencil for me now. It's a piece of cake. So remember, we're not going to put our instrument on we're not going to get our bow on our instrument this week. We want to make sure when we put our bow back in the case that we loosen it. So we got to loosen the bow. You'll feel the tension release as soon as you start to loosen it. Okay, so we're back down to about that. You don't want to make it too loose. That would be bad. If that happens, just tighten it up just a little bit. Don't let that happen. And so we put this back in the case. Remember, we put the tip in first, so we go this way, and we slide it in that way, and then we latch the little lever here, over here by the frog. It's important that it stays latched so that it doesn't come down when the case closes and scratches the instrument. You don't want to do that. In the next coming weeks, we're going to start to think about getting our bow on the string, but not yet. One of the strategies that we use is using an 18-count egg carton that you might find, there it is, might find yourself purchasing at Wegmans or Sam's Club or wherever you do your grocery shopping. The best cartons that we use are 18-count styrofoam. If you have an 18-count egg styrofoam container at home, it would be greatly appreciated if you could send it into school. We need about 50 of them. Our violin and viola players use these to help with their setup. And it's just a really, really great, easy household tool that we use. And so if you can spare one, it would be great. And if you have a 12 count and it's styrofoam, we could use that too. The cardboard ones aren't so great for our bows. Styrofoam, great. 18 count, great. Thank you. Be sure to check in next week as we continue our process with the bow hold. We'll be coming up with new strategies to start to make some sound, but not until next week.